Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it.
Morning, welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Guys, good morning. How are we doing?
Not good.
Not good.
No. You're waiting.
Okay.
You ain't waiting?
All I know is, as long as I don't have to talk about those sorry Dallas Cowboys anymore, I'm good today.
Yeah, you waiting.
I am good.
You waiting like the rest of the country.
Yeah.
They waited on a number,
Yeah.
and you waiting on a victory. Good
Okay.
luck. Which one's
Thank
going to
you.
happen first?
I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, Skip, but we actually do have to talk about the Cowboys. Just because you guys are shorthanded doesn't mean you don't have to play on Sunday. And for the Cowboys, they are starting their fourth new quarterback against the undefeated Steelers coming up this week on Sunday. More attention than ever will be on Ezekiel Elliott. In Zeke's last game against Pittsburgh, though, he scored 3 touchdowns, including the game winner. Zeke said, quote, that was one of his favorite games as a Cowboy, and also saying, quote, it does kind of seem like it was forever ago. Shannon, can you see Zeke recapturing any of his 2016 magic?
No, Skip. It does seem like forever ago because it was forever ago. That was many, many games ago. That was about probably 1,000 less carries ago, and that arguably was Zeke's best game as a Cowboy. Skip, there's a lot of things that's changed since 2016. 2 of those things aren't coming back, at least this year. Tyron Smith was the best left tackle in football. He was a first-team All-Pro. Travis Frederick was arguably the best center in football. He was a first-team All-Pro. Zach Martin, who's still on the team, was first-team All-Pro, but that was a lot of collisions ago, Skip. Zeke also was a first-team All-Pro. Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, not coming back this year. Zach Martin has been banged up a little bit. He's still legit. He's still a top 3 guard in all of football. But Zeke is not the best back in football anymore. And, Skip, they've kind of gone away from what they were then. Skip, you know, they got off the bus knowing, Zeke, you getting 20 touches today, bro.
Yep.
Zeke, now he's hoping. And because they don't fear the quarterback,
Yep.
everybody talks about, we heard Pat Peterson when they, the great cornerback from the Cardinals say, no, we won't Andy Dalton, the ball in Andy Dalton's hand. We know what 21 can do. We're not sure about Andy Dalton. They're going to be even less sure about Cooper Rush or Garrett Gilbert, Skip. They're not going to let Zeke beat them. Teams are smart enough to know. Is Zeke, Skip, I don't believe Zeke is that guy, 2016 guy.
Yep.
But I still believe he's capable of going for 110, dominating the clock, and keeping the defense, although the Cowboys defense is playing better. But, Skip, it's not that. That's not coming back because that offensive line isn't the same. I don't believe Zeke is the same, and I don't believe the Cowboys' commitment to the run is the same. So when you factor all those things in, although it's nice for Zeke to reminisce, like, man, I went 80. And you was watching that, you like, man, I wish those days would come back. Happy days are not here again, Skip. I am sorry to tell you. So to answer Jenny's questions, no, I do not.
So you're not sorry to tell me because the truth is I've been trying to tell you this, unfortunately, for a year and a half since Zeke came back from Cabo San Lucas and got paid 5 years, $90 million, $15 million a year. I hate how right I have been because I have told you from about game 1 or 2 of 2019, Shannon, I'm sorry. Eye test is saying, don't see it. Where's that guy?
Skip, they say the wings hit differently in Mexico. I don't know what the ranch and the blue cheese dressing.
I got it. I have told you again and again, I still love my man Zeke. I still have his picture on my bedside table. But I miss that Zeke. I don't see this that much. If I get it twice a game now, I'm like, wow.
If you
great.
get it once a game, because you didn't see
I'm
it,
excited.
you didn't see it Sunday at all.
No, I didn't see it at all. And the problem is, this number 21 looks like more of a fullback than a halfback to me. This one has lost some of his sadness, some of his explosion, some of his burst that he used to have, obviously dating back to the glory days at the Ohio State.
You got to let that.
I know. I let it go. It wasn't even his last year. It was his second to last year. When he didn't dominate the Big Ten, he dominated the nation.
He almost ran for 1,000 yards in 4 games.
He did. It was spectacular, all the way to a championship game against the Oregon Ducks.
Yep.
I was there at Jerry World, and he just ran wild on them, just as he had run, wild on St. Nick's defense in the semifinal.
And they hit Wisconsin,
in the Big Ten and Michigan.
Before
it was just, he ran them out of the building.
He did.
So now, I hark back to what I was always taught as I was coming up covering your game, pro football. It was almost a cliche that running back shelf life is 2.5 years. And I would say, well, it's longer than that.
Right.
You know, certainly for the great ones. You know, we saw Emmett just go on and on and on. He went all the way to Arizona and just kept piling up yards because he had such great quickness in a confined space, as Norv Turner used to tell me. And he just had the art of avoiding collisions.
He didn't run to contact like Zeke does.
Zeke runs to contact. He runs through contact. He runs through brick walls at the line of scrimmage. And to your point, obviously, the walls have gotten more bricks in them since the stud linemen have gone down. And this year has been mostly a disaster for the offensive line. So I certainly give you that. But it was so ironic that you and I had just started Undisputed, and we took the show on the road, I guess, for the first time, and we went to New York City for UFC at Madison Square Garden. So this was the week, because the current president just got elected on that Tuesday that we got there on Wednesday, right?
Correct.
And we were there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And on that Sunday was Dallas at Pittsburgh. And it was the suddenly hot young Cowboys featuring Dak and Zeke.
Right.
And neither of us were quite sure what to make of them. I loved it. I was on fire. But I just couldn't figure out how they could go to Pittsburgh and win.
Right.
So we picked it that Friday. There's no way I was picking Dallas to win that game. They were 7-1 at that point. I thought they're going to be 7-2. I think we both picked Pittsburgh to win that game. And then these things happened. The first one was the screen pass that went 83 yards, and I just have to burn this into my soul because I'm just afraid we're never going to see this again. But here we go. Just a little flip from Dak to Zeke. This is 83 yards now. There's some acceleration going on there. This is 4-4 Zeke because he outran 3 DBs and then just vaulted into the end zone. Did a little pirouette into the end zone. Here we go again. Okay, that guy feels like a thing of the past to me. And yet, remember, he's only 25 years old, so it's not like he turned 30 and he lost it, right?
Right.
Okay, so then in the fourth quarter, it's still a nip-tuck game, back and forth with Big Ben. And Zeke scores twice in the fourth quarter. The first one was a 14-yard touchdown. And again, you look at the blocking. There's a gaping hole, and he just burst right through.
Look at Travis Fred. Look at Zach Martin.
Just blowing people up, okay? And then your favorite play comes on the following play, which nailed the game. This is the nail in the coffin, and this is, you want to talk about gaping hole, and I can't remember who the right end was, but he played it completely wrong.
Yes, he's got to get across the tight end's face.
Yep. And he, as you
linebacker.
said, yeah, it was. And as you said, Zeke hit his head on the goalpost. This happened. We're seeing it in slow motion, but in real time, it just happened like, boom.
Yes.
And game over, 35-30 Dallas. So now we've come full circle, 4 years. We're right in the middle of another election. And I'm looking for my man Zeke against the Steelers on Sunday at Jerry World just to kind of save my day.
Right.
Save a little bit of pride for my franchise. And yet I keep telling you these numbers. I saw 16, 17, and 18, he led the league in yards per game. It went from 109 to 98 to 96. A slight decline, but still leading the league.
Right.
And then last year, after he got his money, he fell all the way off to a easily career low, 85 yards a game. This year, he's falling way down. It's horrendous what's happening.
Right.
Because he's all the way down to 3.9 yards per attempt, which is, he's fallen under 4 yards, which ranks 35th among running backs, which is terrible. Worst last year was my least favorite stat that I kept telling you. On first down carries, he ranked second in attempts all through 2019. So they were trying to establish him.
Right.
And yet, he ranked 18th in yards per carry on first down.
Right.
Well, do the math on that. That won't work.
Right.
Because you're not going enough. You're not establishing the run enough that they will want to stick with it. Well, they tried to stick with it,
right.
but it didn't work. It didn't set you up to win games. And what happened? My team goes, what was it, 9-7 and missed the playoffs.
No, your team went 8-8 last year. You wish they went 9-7.
I was thinking about the last. They beat Washington the last game just to get to 8-8.
Right.
Okay. So this year, he's all the way down to 65 yards a game. And obviously, you say, yeah, but you kept falling so far behind.
Right.
Well, in part, that was because he couldn't make a difference early enough in the game because he's still 5th in first down carries in the league, which is still pretty high.
Right.
And he's going nowhere slowly because he's clear down at ranking 35th.
Well, Skip, this year, you got Andy Dalton,
yep.
you got DiNucci, and you got Cooper Rush, or whomever.
Yep.
What do you think I think you're going to do on first down? I think you're going to let those guys throw the ball on first down, or I think you're going to turn around and hand it to Zeke on first down?
Yep.
Which one you think I'm thinking if I'm a defensive coordinator?
Yep.
You not let those guys throw the ball on first down, Skip?
Would you believe that Ezekiel Elliott still has the 4th most carries in the whole league this year?
Yeah, I can believe it.
Okay, the 4th most. Okay, well, is that trying to make 21 the bell cow?
Well, what we saw, Skip, even when they were behind against the Falcons, they were behind against Seattle, they were still giving him his carries.
Yep.
They just didn't want the defense to just pin their ears back and just blatantly disregard the run. So they were still trying to give it to him. But, Skip, since Dak has been out, that number, you said he's averaging 65 yards, it's gone down to 52 yards per
yep.
game since Dak's absence. It's gone down from 3.9 to 3.7 per carry.
That is
so
true.
It's going even worse. And it's going to get even worse unless your quarterback can play, Skip. You got to get some linemen that can play. All of a sudden, you're going to have to get you about another 1 or 2 Zach Martins.
Yep.
Because if you don't, Skip, Zach Martin is the only guy you got. And when you get positive yards, you're running it to his side.
Yep.
You go to the left, ain't nothing happening over there. Cam Fleming and your guy Connor Williams, ain't nothing popping on that side. So don't even go over there. You better stay behind Zach Martin and whoever the right tackle is.
And once again, as I tell you again and again, you know the Shanahans as well as anybody. Tonight on display will be Kyle Shanahan down to his 4th string running back. Watch how creative their run game gets. It's a lot of bells and whistles.
Yes.
It's a lot of smoke and mirrors, but that's all for the good because he gets people loose.
Right.
And Dallas has never had any creativity to it. It's just give it to Zeke and let him try to bang through a hole.
Well, Skip, when you have 3 first, I mean, think about it now. You only have 5 offensive linemen. When you get 3 of them to make first team All-Pro, they're basically saying you have 3 of the top 3 linemen that rank, how many teams? 32 teams, so over 155 offensive linemen. You got 3 of the best of 155. So, Skip, I ain't got to get creative. I just turn around and hand you the ball because I got the 3 best offensive linemen in football.
Okay. So here are the most telling numbers to me. 20-plus yard runs. When he was a rookie, he had 14 of them. It's pretty great. Then it fell to 11 the second year. Then we fell all the way to 2019. Well, I'm not counting 2017 because Murray got suspended.
Right.
So it's actually 11 in 2018, and then it fell to 4 last year in 2019. Only 4 20-plus yard runs.
You have not one?
One. You got 1. So he'd be projected if you do 8 more games, he'd have 2. Okay, what does that tell you? It's not that guy anymore. And Shannon, I had to sit yesterday watching him do his weekly interview, and what was he talking about? What was his new mantra? I got to keep chopping wood. And I'm thinking, this is my guy. This is this guy. Chopping wood? From eat, Zeke, eat to I got to keep chopping wood. Well, that's just straight blue collar. That's not cowboy blue. You know that. Come on, what are you talking about?
And you see, and the thing is, you don't look at Zeke as that kind of a guy. You want Zeke to be explosive. See, the thing is,
game breaker.
Right. Zeke, but Skip, if you really think about it, Zeke has never had the runs like Derrick Henry. We look at Derrick Henry, and it seems like every time I turn around, he's going 90.
Loose. Yeah, because he weighs, you think 250 or 60. 260.
Yeah.
And he can fly.
Yes.
And he breaks through the line of scrimmage, and all of a sudden, he has another gear.
Right.
Where he's outrunning, he'll outrun all the linebackers for sure.
Yes.
And he will make it hard on the DBs because they'll come up to challenge and they're going to get this in the face, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, I should have gone back and counted how many 20-plus yard runs he has last year and this year, because it would be a ton.
He got, because Skip, I mean, you think about it, he's already got I mean, you think about how many long runs that he has. I think he has like 10, 50-plus yard runs, and he's only been in the league, what, 4 years?
Yep.
So that's saying 50-yard touchdown runs on runs and pass catching. But when I look at Zeke, Skip, I never thought Zeke was going to be in NFL what he was in college, for the simple fact, Skip, I just thought that Ohio State was so good, Skip. Those teams, when you look at those teams with those Bosas and all those defensive players and all those offensive skill guys they got, if he goes somewhere, and Dallas had an offensive line that was perfect for him. But what happened is, Skip, those guys started getting old, because they've been banging for a while. Because remember, they had DeMarco Murray. He led the league in rushing. So they've been banging for a while. And at some point in time, you see Tyron Smith starting to break down, Skip. It's his back, his knees, his shoulders. Zach Martin knees. Travis Frederick had the illness. And he's like, you know what?
And by the way, DeMarco Murray, after that 2014, he was never the same.
He's never the same.
He's now an assistant coach standing on the sideline for my Oklahoma Sooners, where he went to school, obviously. But he was quickly done.
Yeah.
Remember, he went to Philly.
Stole from them. I mean, and he went somewhere else after that, Skip, and I forget. But he was never, you're right, he was never the same. I just think the thing is, Skip, is that now, because you don't have a solid quarter, I mean, these guys, Skip, let's be real. They're not going to respect the passing game. They're going to gobble up Zeke, and they're going to force your quarterbacks to beat them throwing the football. Yes, you have quality receivers, C.D. Lamb and Gallup and Amari Cooper.
Yep.
But do I believe one of those two guys that they're going to start can throw for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and beat me? No. And the Steelers are going to, and Mike Tomlin made it abundantly clear, we're going to stop Zeke. We're putting our attention on Zeke, and we'll tackle Zeke on the way to the quarterback.
Okay, so the story, I can sum up Zeke's story of the year was at Philly in the third quarter. Trevon Diggs made another play.
Yep.
He tracks down a Wentz throw that was a little short and caught it as he entered the end zone.
Right.
Then he ran it back 33 yards to the 31, and here we came. And guess what happened? Feed the beast. And we go Zeke, 9 yards, 6 yards, and 8 yards. And right on schedule, I don't know if he was gassed or if they just wanted to do a quick change of pace, but in comes my man, Tony Pollard. And he's okay. He goes 7, then 2, but then 9.
Right.
And all of a sudden, they have set up shop in Eagles territory, and here they come. And they're up 9-7 at this point. And if they cash this one, 16-7, I got a shot.
Feeling good.
Even with DiNucci, I got a shot.
Right.
Right? If Zeke can just take over the rest of the game with a little help from T. Pollard, okay, then I'm fine. And what happens right on schedule? They bring Zeke back in. He goes for only 2 yards on first down. So now it's 2nd and 8 from the 26-yard line. And they panic and resort to a trick play with Cedric Wilson on a end around trying to throw a pass.
Right.
Except before he can cut loose, Fletcher Cox just rocks him.
Right.
And it's -10, and that was the end of the game for the Dallas Cowboys. What does that tell you about how much they don't trust Ezekiel Elliott now?
That too, but Skip, sometimes just because you got a sheet full of plays, that don't mean you got to call them on, Skip. It was like, we got to get this, we practiced it, so we got to get it in this game.
Yeah.
That wasn't the time.
Obviously, the theme of the night for Kellen Moore, we can't beat them, so let's trick them.
Right.
So they were just throwing the whole show at them.
I'm not trying to trick you now because I got something going, Skip. I'm just running the ball downhill. So I'm going to stick with that because I'm in field goal range, Skip.
Hey, but if you had 2016 Zeke, what would be your mantra at that point? Just feed him.
Yeah, but Skip, but you also want 2016 Cowboys offensive line too. Skip, look at those guys. You talking about Cam Irvin. Skip, come on. You saw what Aaron Donald did to him. Aaron Donald went to the Hall of Fame that Monday night against Cam Irvin.
Yep.
Is that his name, Cam Irvin? Cam Fleming?
Cam Irving.
Irving.
They had Cam Fleming last year as a backup.
Yeah, but come on, Skip. And you're right, tackle. You playing, Skip, you're starting 2 undrafted guys.
Okay, just watch what San Francisco does tonight. They're decimated in their offensive line. Trent Williams went on the COVID list yesterday. Just watch what they do. Watch what they do with a bunch of backups.
They're gonna have to run the ball, Skip, because they ain't got no receivers, because they got to put a bunch of receivers
They're all gone, right?
Yep.
So just watch what Kyle Shanahan can do, doing a whole lot with a little that this team should be doing more of.
Well, that's what Kyle Shanahan, but see, Kyle Shanahan has really never had Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre. So he had to get creative in order to move the football.
Yep.
Remember, he built an offense, especially for RG3. RG3 was Rookie of the Year, tore his knee up. He wasn't the same when he came back. He went to Atlanta and started the West Coast offense. Matt Ryan had his best year.
MVP.
Look at what he did for Jimmy G, Nick Mullins, C.J. Beathard. When you don't have the quarterback talent, Skip, you got to get creative.
Yep.
But when you got those quarterbacks, man, get on out there. And people, you convince people, man, look here, man, I'm calling these things up. No, you got Aaron Rodgers. Just like Josh McDaniels had people fooled. Bill O'Brien had people fooled.
Yep.
A lot of people had people fooled thinking they were calling great plays. No, that's Brett Favre, that's Aaron Rodgers, that's Tom Brady, that's Peyton. Look at Adam Gase. Adam Gase got 2 jobs, Skip, because he had people fooled thinking he calling great plays. No, that's Peyton Manning. You ain't calling nothing.
And Peyton always endorsed him publicly.
Yes!
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, because he stayed out of Peyton's way.
Yep, he did.
That's what he did.
Okay, so bottom line to this discussion. Am I going to condemn Jerry Jones for giving Zeke 5 years, $90 million? No, I'm not, or I'd be the all-time hypocrite because I was over here just pounding the desk. Pay the man. You have to pay. He has earned his way to that point, and the market said that's not outrageous. $15 million a year. Right. Again, we're talking about Dak making $42 million a year, okay? But is Jerry getting the bang for his buck that he hoped to? He is not.
No. The market has depreciated.
I would say.
It didn't appreciate. But Skip, this is a bad matchup for you. You're playing against one of the better run defenses in football. Yep. With the banged up, with the offensive line not very good, and Zeke not looking like the Zeke that you remember. So this is not a good matchup for you. Plus, you got a backup to the backup player. No, the backup is out on the COVID list. The backup that you had to him played so bad, it's like, nah, we good. We've seen enough.
So we're a 4th string?
Yes.
Well, in a little while on this show, I'm going to make the case that my 4th string quarterback is going to play much better than you think.
Okay. Make that case.
Yeah.
Is that your projection?
Yep.
I think I want to hold off on those. I'm gonna wait until Sunday to see.
Okay.
Oh, we talked about delusion yesterday, Skip. Are we still there with the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Oh,
He just can't let him get it.
Well, I mean, at least.
You know, Jenny, we've all seen it. They done told, look, I don't want to be with you, but the Cowboys done told Skip they don't want to be with him.
That.
But he won't let go.
Trying to break up with you, but you're just hanging on.
No mercy.
Tom Brady's Buccaneers host the Saints on Sunday night, and the GOAT didn't look great in New Orleans the first time the teams met in the first week of the season. He threw 2 interceptions in that game, but he's been on fire during Tampa's recent 3-game winning streak. If Drew Brees and the Saints beat the Bucs, it will be the first time Tom Brady has ever been swept by a division rival. So, Shannon, impressive is this?
It's not very impressive at all. He's had the luxury.
It's not?
No, because he's had the luxury of playing in the worst division in football in his tenure in New England. Now, let's take a look at the teams that's in that division. The Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills. The Jets, over the time frame in which Brady played 20 seasons, had the 21st best record in the NFL. There's only 32 teams. The Miami Dolphins had the 23rd best record in the NFL over that time frame. The Buffalo Bills had the 26th best record in that time frame. Mind you, again, people at home, there are only 32 teams. Now, there are 10, those teams, 3 teams, combined for 10 winning seasons. The Jets had 5, the Dolphins had 4. One of the Dolphins' winning seasons came when Brady was hurt in 2008. The Buffalo Bills had 1 winning season. That was last year. And in those era, the Bills and the Dolphins has not won a playoff game. But you want me to be impressed with that. Now, mind you now, remember, these 3 teams, Buffalo, the Dolphins, and the Jets, that's only 2 times they're supposed to see the Patriots. What happened to the other 14 games? So, okay, I'm going to disregard that. Brady beating you up. You a good team, Brady beating you up. Don't shame him, Brady beating you. So why are you winning more games than that? Because you're only seeing Brady twice a year. What about those other 14 games? Which tells me those teams weren't very good. Brady was in a terrible division. Over the 20 years, if you stretch it out, he's had the best defense in 2 decades. Now, granted, there have been years when the Baltimore Ravens had better defenses, or Tampa had better defenses, or the Seattle Seahawks. But I'm saying, Skip, over 20 years, nobody can touch these guys. So, Skip, he's won a bunch of games. But come on now, let's be real. Look at the quarterbacks that's in that division, or that was in that division. Can you remember anybody that played at Buffalo? No, not really. What about the Dolphins? No, not really. The Jets, really? It's franchise. That's what you want. You want me to do cartwheels about franchise. And now you're going up against a young guy in Sam Darnold. So stop this. We see what happened when you get to a real division. He already decided, already on the verge. Something that never happened, he's on the verge of that happening right now, Skip Bayless. So stop playing. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, they stay in the AFC East because it used to, AFC East. You believe that if he stays in that same division with Peyton Manning, with those great teams they had, that some of those years they probably wouldn't have got swept? Or they play in another division? Come on, Skip. Stop. Kudos. Tom Brady, go. You want to say go? Great quarterback? Fine. I ain't going to debate that. But this is not an impressive feat, considering who he did against. Now, if he's in the division with Seattle, or he's in the division with the Packers, or somebody that have another great quarterback, Skip, you got me. You mean to tell me another Hall of Fame quarterback couldn't beat Tom Brady twice in the same season? I give you that. But with these guys, nah, you don't get no credit for that one.
So what I see here is this is yet another underrated career achievement by the GOAT.
A longevity award.
Why. Yeah. This isn't longevity. This is just career achievement, because I'm seeing something completely different than you just described. Because let's look at the Jets, shall we?
Yes.
In Tom Brady's time in New England. The 04 Jets, Herman Edwards' team, went 10-6 and had a top 5 defense. 2009, Rex Ryan had the #1 defense in pro football. 2010, they were 3rd in points allowed, the Rex Ryan team. And both those teams, with Sanchez at quarterback, got all the way one step short of a Super Bowl because they played in back-to-back AFC championship games, mostly because of the Revis-Cromartie defenses under the great Rex Ryan as a defensive coordinator. 2015, with Todd Bowles as the coach, they went 10-6, and they had a top 5 defense. So that's 4 times 8 games against the Jets. They had top 5 defenses that he had to play against twice.
Well, what you have to do to be Tom Brady, Skip, you need somebody on the opposite side. What about the quarterback? You won't mention the quarterback. So who was Todd Bowles' quarterback?
Well, I just told you the success of those teams. The Herm team went 10-6. Rex back-to-back to the AFC Championship game, and 10-6 under Todd Bowles in 2015. So somehow they were pretty good. And now let's move to the Bills, shall we? Nobody cares about the Bills, but would you believe that in 03, 04, 2014, and 2019, the Bills had top 5 defenses? Then let's move to the Dolphins, shall we? In 02, 03, remember, Tom's been playing a long time. 02, 03, and 06, they had top 5 defenses. Why was that? Because they had this guy flying off the edge named Jason Taylor. Remember that guy? I think he's related to Joy Taylor, who happens to be alongside Colin on the show that follows our show. And Jason Taylor, thanks to an endorsement by Tom Brady, is now alongside you in the Hall of Fame. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, so Tom Brady had to deal with 3 top 5 defenses featuring Jason Taylor early in his career. So that's 11 seasons of 22 games against top 5 defenses in his division.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness is right. And guess what? Not one time did he ever get swept. That is outrageously great, and you give him no credit.
Even when you're playing against Tom Brady, what must the other team have on the other side? A competent quarterback. You didn't tell me who Buffalo's quarterback was. You won't tell me who Miami's quarterback was. You won't tell me who Herman was, who his quarterback was. And then you had the nerve to say Mark Sanchez. That's what you said.
He got to the AFC Championship game twice as a rookie and a second-year player.
All you got to do.
Back to back.
This is what I want you to do at home, people. Go type in butt fumble and see what pops up. That's the guy Skip Bayless is trying to tell me should have swept Tom Brady.
Go type in Revis and Cromartie and see what comes up.
Skip.
See, look at that. In 2009, they were the #1 defense in pro football, and Brady did not get swept. He lost a game to them, but he did not get swept.
Skip, in order to beat Brady, yes, you need a defense, but you're going to have to score points. That's why Mahomes was able to beat him last year. And it goes nip and tuck because Mahomes can match him point for point. You look at Nick Foles, what he did. Skip, Tom Brady had 505. But if Nick Foles does not do what he does with 373 and 3 touchdowns, they lose.
Okay.
So you got to have confidence on the offensive side to compete with that guy.
Just don't give me that it was a 20-year cakewalk in that division for him, because it was not. Those are hard games.
I've seen teams have historically good defenses and teams be trashed because their offense can't move the ball. All I'm saying, out of 32 teams, the Jets had the 21st best record, the Dolphins the 23rd, and the Bills the 26th. And you give me 4-year span for the Bills, you give me a 2-year span for the Bills, 4 years for the Dolphins, and 4 years for the Jets. Really, Skip?
The Bills 03-04, 14-19, top 5 defenses.
Skip.
Well, what happened in Baltimore in 2000?
Yes.
They had a trash offense, right?
Yes.
Not you, but the rest was trash,
we weren't very good.
Yeah.
We just had to not mess it up for the defense.
Okay.
We did our part. But Skip, look, and Ozzie broke it up because he didn't believe you could win long term being so dominant on one side and not being able to be competent consistently on the other side. So you had to get some consistency. You don't have to be, and the Ravens has never had, like, you will never see another defense like that, or the 85 Bears, because they don't let you play defense like that, Skip. But you got to get some consistency, some consistent play at the quarterback position. And that's what Skip, not one guy. How many guys have gone to the Pro Bowl out of that division other than Brady?
You're talking about quarterback.
Yes.
Well, I'm just talking about he doesn't play against the other quarterback. He plays against the defense.
Actually, he does. Because if you cannot put points on the board, you can't beat him. That's what you have to do. So I know they're not on the field at the same time, but Tom Brady knows when he was going against Peyton, he's got to score. He knows he's going to get my homeboy. He knows he has to score. You're going against Drew Brees, you've got to score. He knows that. You know that. Skip, look.
The Jets even did a number on him in New England in a playoff game. How did that happen? That was Mark Sanchez. How did that happen? They beat them in a playoff game in Foxborough.
Skip, 20 years is unbelievable run for him to have that level of consistency. I say 20 years because this is basically, he didn't start his rookie year, so now his 21st season, but this is the 20-year run that he's had has been remarkable. Skip, I'm not trying to poo-poo that. But let's not pretend that the teams in that division have been historically good in the 2000s, because they haven't. The Bills have only been to the Bills have 1 winning record. That was last year. They've only been to the playoffs twice. The Jets have only been to the playoffs, 4 times in 20 years? And the Patriots go every year. Except the year he got hurt, and we beat them in 2002, so they didn't go. That was the last, I think they finished 8-8. So other than that, Skip, so they had 18 years of prosperity. The Bills had 2. The Jets had 4. And Miami ain't no telling.
So now that brings us to the present and your contention that he's on the brink of getting swept now. Why is that? I called this from the start in the offseason. I told you as soon as I saw the schedule, that's unfair. They were set up to fail in the opener. As Jenny said, Tom's been on fire of late. Yeah, well, he got thrown into the fire at New Orleans in the opening game. It was almost like it's rigged to lose that game. Impossibly wrong to take a Tom Brady who had just joined a new team with no OTAs, no preseason games, all new teammates, all new coaching staff, all new Bruce Arians offense, and all of a sudden you have to play your division arch rival, the team that is picked to win your division, on the road in your opening game with no game reps with any of these guys? Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's out. That's just wrong.
That's what they did to Peyton Manning. His first game in Denver, who did he play, Skip? The Pittsburgh Steelers. Is that it? Are the Steelers any good with Big Ben?
Did they have preseason games that year?
Yes.
Yeah. Did they get to practice in OTAs?
Look at Peyton. Peyton missed the whole year. Missed the whole year. Had neck fusion surgery.
And what happened? Did they go win the Super Bowl?
No, they didn't win the Super Bowl.
Thank you. That's what I thought.
That was the division they got beat by Baltimore.
So as Bruce Arians said yesterday, we are light years better than we were in our opener at New Orleans. And I believe that, light years better, because all I know about the opener was Tom Brady threw 2 interceptions. One was to Mike Evans over the middle on an option route where Mike Evans just stopped. And Brady just had to hope that they were on enough of a wavelength with no practice games at all, that he threw it where he thought Mike was going to go, and Mike stopped. And it was the easiest interception you will ever see. Then he throws a pick 6 intended for one Justin Watson, and that he also was the intended target on his second pick 6 the next game. And what has happened to Justin Watson? Well, he's fallen completely out of the rotation, and I will be surprised if he gets another target the rest of the year.
So you blaming Justin Watson for that?
Okay, I'm just saying it was a brand new play that he had never run in his life. I've never seen that play before, but maybe I'm not familiar enough with Bruce Arians' offense.
Yeah.
But it's a middle screen with 2 quick options on speed outs to either side. And if you don't see what you need to see on the middle screen, you have to pick a side instantly, and I'm going to go here or here. And it's literally like a 2-yard pass. And he picked Jackrabbit's side, which is a bad idea because Janoris Jenkins is the all-time cluer, and he jumped it because he just sniffed it and smelled it, and he took it to the house. Okay, do you see that play run anymore? No, they threw it out.
Good.
Because the first 2 times he tried it, he had never run that play before because they didn't have that play in New England.
No.
And it cost him 2 pick 6s.
Because most teams run screens, you have the wide receivers release outside to turn the corners and run off.
Thank you. So I don't know where this play came from, but they ran it twice, and now it's run out of the rotation.
Yes.
Okay, so my point is, they're just now figuring out how to play together. Okay. Now they're going to add Antonio Brown. At least Brady has a little rapport with him from the, 10 days they were together in New England. And I hope that Chris Godwin will be back from a broken finger. They say there's a chance he will play. Well, all of a sudden you're upgrading, and you're just on pure experience together. You're way better, and now you're at home, and you got a shot. But the only reason they're on the brink of being swept is the schedule makers did this to them.
Well, the reason why they didn't get swept is that the NFL, when they reconfigured the league, they put them with the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills. So that's one of the reasons why they didn't get swept. They put them in that crappy division, and you know it, Skip. You know for the last 20 years, the AFC East has been the worst division in football. You know that.
All I know for sure is you will never, ever give Tom Brady an ounce of credit for anything.
Skip, I'm giving him credit. But you can't get no credit for beating the Bills. Skip, really? The Bills? The Bills.
Well, how about
one winning season in 20 years.
How do you not get swept by Rex's defenses in either 2009 or 10?
If you had a competent quarterback, they probably would have beat them up 4 out of 5 times.
They got to the AFC Championship game and had a chance.
I mean, Skip.
At Indy and against Pittsburgh.
A man takes a snap. He runs the ball, sticks his face in his own offensive lineman butt and fumble. And you say that's the guy that should beat Tom Brady twice in one season.
Well, he only beat him in a playoff game in Foxborough. Is that good?
Skip, Skip. Brian Greasy has never lost to Tom Brady in a game. Jake Plummer beat Tom Brady in a playoff game. He's been beaten one time, Skip. That's why we love football. It's because on a given Sunday or given Monday, anybody can be beat. But if you think you're going to beat that guy there with just average quarterback play consistently, that's not going to happen.
Well, all I know is it's not going to happen this year either because he's going to win on Sunday night and he will not get swept.
And what happens, Skip? I mean, look at what the AFC's tried to do. They went out and got Tua. They went out and got, they drafted Josh Allen. They went and got the kid from USC, Darnold. At least they say we got to have something competent.
Okay, and Tom chose one of the toughest divisions in football, right?
Yes.
He said, "I want a piece of Drew Brees."
He already caught an L. Something that he never did opening day. How many times Tom Brady lost on opening day? Buffalo beat him one time last time I can remember. You remember when they traded Lloyd and Malloy right before the season started?
How many times do you go to a brand new team on opening day and have to play on the road?
He to go.
Arch rival.
You ain't say that about Brian. When Brian went to a new team, he lost. Oh, Brian, you got to do that. He to go, right? Tom Brady go, right?
Nobody cares about that.
Oh, yeah.
Waiting for LeBron to be brought into the conversation. You're both going to have to listen up to this one because tonight on Fox, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers travel west to San Francisco. And while both teams are banged up, Green Bay could be without its top 3 running backs. When Rodgers was asked about how he felt about the current situation, he said, quote, "It'll be a fun challenge." Huh. Interesting quote. Shannon, do you like his attitude?
I love it. Because for the better part of his career, Skip, he's really never had a consistent, sound running game. He had Eddie Lacy for one season. Yep. And then for whatever reason, maybe they in Green Bay, they have buffets, and Eddie Lacy wasn't able to keep his weight under control. And and he had Aaron Jones last season. But for the most part of his career, he's really never had a running game that he says, you know what? I got the day off. I'm just going to turn around and hand it off. Guys, y'all do y'all thing. And so now he's going to be down with his top 3 running backs. Aaron says, I've been here before. I've been doing this the better part of my career without a running game. And so, hey, Devontae Adams, get ready. Because this is what Devontae Adams is averaging in 4 full games. Skip, remember he missed a game? Missed those games?
It's 5, isn't it? I think he's 5.
Well, this will be his 5th. This will be 9 games. He's averaging 14 targets. 14, because he got nicked. He got nicked in the game. I think he hurt his hamstring. He ended up coming out. He's averaging 14 targets. How many targets do you think he's going to get now with no running game? That might be 20. Because we've seen him have the other day, he had 12 targets on Sunday. He had 7 catches, 3 touchdowns. Game before that, he had like 16, 17 targets. So he's going to get his lion's share. There's no choice, no choice for Aaron if they don't have their top 3 running back. But they'll find some way to, you just can't drop back and throw it 50 times. But I love that. And he knows the 49ers are that without their top receivers, but the 49ers are going to run football. They're going to want to keep Aaron Rodgers off the field because after what Russ did to him with DK Metcalf and Lockett and Moore, they want no parts of that. So they're going to try to run the ball. And we remember what happened last time. The Packers went out to Levi. They got the jeans beat off them. They ran the ball for almost 300, 285. Now, we just saw Dalvin Cook go up and down the field on them like he was Adrian Peterson. So they need to do a better job of stopping the run and let Aaron Rodgers do what he does. But I love it. I love the challenge. I'm going to show you why you wasted a draft pick on a quarterback and a running back when you should have got me some help on that other side over there or got me a wide receiver. But I'm going to let that slide. But I'm going to show you what I'm all about.
Okay. So, for once, I definitely agree with you about what Aaron said yesterday. I loved it. It had the ring of authenticity to it. It wasn't a diva comment. It wasn't a finger-pointing, blame-deflecting comment, don't look at me kind of comment. He embraced this in ways other quarterbacks or other coaches on other teams that are getting COVID-racked or injury-racked in this crazed 2020 that we're in don't. He just said, I love this quote. He said, you'd love having your guys in there at full strength for sure, but there is that fun challenge of going in there without some of those guys and trying to find a way to win. It is a fun challenge. I think Kyle Shanahan will also take it as a fun challenge tonight because it tests your deepest coaching metal. What can you come up with on the fly to make it work with, they just got wrecked yesterday they had enough injuries, but now it went one after another.
And you was already without Kittle.
Already without him, and Trent Williams is gone, and Bourne is gone. Debo was already gone. Ayuk is on the COVID list.
Now, give me the running backs.
Mostert's gone. Tevin Coleman's still gone. Jeff Wilson Jr. is still gone, out injured. So you're down to Jerick McKinnon and Jermichael Hasty. Not bad, but not like Mostert, who went for 220 in the NFC Championship.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to give you that about Aaron Rodgers. And it's almost like 50-50 here because one team's down 3 running backs, and so is the other team down 3 running backs.
Yes.
So now it's kind of a level playing field at running back, except it's not a level playing field at quarterback because all of a sudden there's no Jimmy G and there's no Kill, as you just said, right? So Aaron does have his Devontae. Right. And again, I point out that David Carr, writing for NFL.com ranks offensive players just on value. And he had Devontae at number 4 on this week's overall list behind the 2 quarterbacks at the top, obviously Russ and Mahomes, right? And then I believe he had Kamara at 3. But Devontae had a receiver at 4 ahead of Aaron, okay, who didn't even make the top 10, as I recall.
That's
okay.
You know it.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying that's how valuable he's been to Aaron, because you can argue he's mostly all he's got, although Tanyan, you admitted yesterday, is becoming a player, right?
Like him a lot.
Okay. And Lazard, they're saying, could be back.
Right.
Well, you still have Valdez-Scantling, so you got a chance. You got some firepower outside, right?
They do. But it just goes to show, you see, the reason why you believe they have a chance is because they have Aaron and the other team has Nick Mullins. What I've been trying to tell you the previous segment is that one team had Tom Brady and the other teams had a bunch of you-know-who's. Yeah, you know who. Exactly. We don't know.
Okay.
But I thought you told me this was Aaron Jones' team. Why would you hype Aaron Rodgers now when you said this is Aaron Jones's team? Aaron Rodgers went along for a great ride.
I still believe that. And I think we might see that come to fruition tonight before your very eyes on Fox, live national TV, because they are going to miss Aaron Jones if, in fact, he doesn't play, because there's still a chance he's got a calf pull. But he's only listed as questionable. I think Rappaport reported on NFL.com yesterday. It's doubtful. It's more like doubtful, but whatever. There's a chance he's going to play.
Go ahead and let him sit it out.
Okay?
If he get 10 days.
Okay, you've been pushing Aaron for MVP. This is your stage. This is your time. This is your night. This is all about Aaron Rodgers. He's by far the best player left on the field, right? Yep. So shouldn't this be an MVP showcase for him tonight?
He's going to do what he does.
Okay, because you don't have quality, experienced running backs. You don't have validated kind of running backs. You got a couple of kids that you raved about yesterday. Well, let's see what they can do under the brightest lights. Right. But it's all about Aaron winning MVP. His degree of difficulty is going to be so low, to me, that he should put on a big show. On the road, on a short week. You see what you do. Come on. You see what he did? You got to throw for 400 tonight, right? Why don't your guy throw against 400 on Monday? Which guy? Your guy. You got one. Well, that's your only quarterback. Your other quarterback injured. So why didn't your guy throw for 400? Who won that game? I didn't ask you that. Yep. So if Aaron Rodgers win the game, he throws for 271, and they win, that's good, right? That'll work. Okay. But it's not going to improve his MVP chances. Did your guy? I told you the other night. I told you. Did your guy improve his chances? He didn't do anything to lose the MVP. He just held serve. Okay. On a night his team around him did not show up. They were looking ahead to their big clash. Neither did he show up. Yeah. But first of all, Russ moved way back up here. Okay. And then right here below him is my homeboy. 21. This is the first time in 100. You writing off Aaron Rodgers? I'm not writing off Aaron Rodgers. I'm not writing off Tom Brady. I'm not writing off any of them. I'm just saying, for the first time, we've never seen a guy have this many touchdowns with so few interceptions at their point. Right, Skip? Yep. I'm just going to sit back tonight in my easy chair and just say, Aaron, show me. Entertain me. Wow me. Yeah. Because this is your night, your time to shine. And I'm gonna be Sunday like, all right, Drew Breezy, do what you do. go get your record back, Drew Breezy. Drew Breezy gonna get his record back. Bet that. Well, 7 49ers who touched the ball in the NFC Championship game just last year are out tonight. 7. Well, that's a lot. We do. Hold on. Huh? You just told me that this is about attrition, right? Okay, so it's part of it. So the NFL said, no, we're not doing bubbles. We're not going to have fans. We're going to limit fans. We're going to we're going to wash our hands. We're going to sanitize. We're going to do all that. Yep. So we knew this was going to be a possibility. They expanded the practice squad to 12 players. I get all that. So this is what's happened. So I would think that Aaron Rodgers alone should win this game by 3 touchdowns. You know what? Right? You need to stop. Help me out here. Hold on. What's the line? Have you lost faith? What's the line? 7.5. Okay, then. Green Bay on the road is a 7.5-point favorite at San Francisco. Okay. Where they got run off the field just a few months back. So how is that 3 touchdowns? The odds makers. I just read the list of all the players who are gone. Hold on. Who is going to play? Let me ask you a question. You know what? Kyle Shanahan might have to suit up tonight. Let me ask you a question. You think Fox Bet and all these gambling sites have that same list you got about guys that's out? Yep. Okay, then. And they said 7.5. Where you getting 21 from? Okay? Because he's Aaron freaking Rodgers. That's what you always tell me. He is transcendent. He is the greatest thrower of the football ever. So I'm waiting for the show.
I'm pretty sure all these gambling sites know who Aaron Rodgers is, knows what he represents, and they said on the road on a Thursday night, the best we can do is 7.5.
Okay, so here's what I will do. Even though this should be like a 20-point spread.
No, you get the line.
I will take 7.5 in San Francisco. I just got this sneaking suspicion that Aaron won't be that great tonight. So I'll take Kyle Shanahan plus 7.5 at home.
You know
give it to me?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay, thank you. For one case. Done deal.
Just the
Appreciate
one?
that.
And you know, the gambling sites also know that Aaron Rodgers was without his top 3 guys also. And could possibly be without Bakhtiari. His best left tackle in football.
Well, he is not without Devontae Adams, so he's good to
You got to
fly.
protect him.
He's ready for the challenge,
You still
guys.
got your 3 receivers, but they can't get protected, so the quarterback can't get on the ball,
You're
right?
talking about Dallas now.
Yes.
Yes,
All right.
not San Francisco.
Yeah.
No mercy.
Pittsburgh is 7-0, and according to Pro Football Focus, the Steelers defense is one of the best in the league. The undefeated Steelers rank 2nd in pass rush and 5th in run defense, but PFF also says 6-2 Tampa Bay is better set for postseason success because of their explosive offense. Oh, led by who? Remember that guy, Shannon? Do you agree with this?
Skip, not necessarily, because I'm not sold on the Steelers either. And I think what's going to be different this year, Skip, is that the top seed, only one seed gets to bye this week. But it's different because they're not going to be a whole lot. They're not going to be any fans. So you fighting for it. Arrowhead is not going to have 78,000 screaming fans. And Heinz Field or whatever the case may be. Now, obviously, it varies state to state. Some places you might go, it might be 500 fans. Some place you go, it might be 14,000 fans.
Yep.
But the home field advantage you would normally get and what you play for is not going to bring you the value that it once did. So for me, Skip, when I look at the Steelers, the thing that concerns me is their consistency to run the football. I think Big Ben, I know what he is. I know what I'm going to get with Big Ben. The receivers, multi-talented. They're young, but they're very, very talented. Offensive line is solid. Defense, extraordinary. I still believe Kansas City is the better team. I believe, even though they just beat Baltimore, if they play them again, do I believe Lamar would turn the ball over 4 times? No. I don't believe that, Skip. They should have won that game. Give Steelers credit. They made the plays they needed to win.
Another shot on Thanksgiving night.
They made the plays they needed to make. They won the game. When I look at, and I think the only reason he's saying this about Tampa might have the most complete team because everybody else in the NFC that's somewhat good, Skip, it is really flawed. You look at the Seahawks, that's what I want. Seahawks offense is equally as explosive, if not more so, than Tampa. But, Skip, their defense. Skip, you can't give up 460 and 28 points a game and think you're going to go far in the playoffs. It's just not going to happen. Because if your offense, the thing is, when you get to the playoffs, Skip, you got to be balanced enough. If that one side of the ball struggles, the other side can pull you through. I'm not so sure that if the offense struggles, that the Seattle's defense, even though led by the great Bobby Wagner, will be enough to pull them through. So that's my concern with them. I still haven't seen. I know Drew is putting up some good numbers, Skip, but he still hasn't looked the same to me. It seems like everything is a struggle to push the ball down the field. And so I know everybody's hopping on this Tampa because it's a great story, Skip. It really is. You know, sports about stories. But let me tell you about your guy. Now, y'all at home, y'all know this. The stat that Skip Bayless used to hang his hat on, his old, you know, he came out here, what Snoop call you? What Snoop nickname gave you?
Drip?
Drip Bayless. You know,
he didn't give me that.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, Drip Bayless, how you come out here with your hat? That hat that you hang up? Was QBR. Skip Bayless, he swore by QBR. He said, that's how you measure a quarterback. Your guy is 14th in QBR. Guess who was in front of him, Skip? Baker Mayfield. Can I interest you in Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, Baker's had a pretty good year, all told.
Don't do that, Skip.
Well, he has.
Don't do that. Don't do that. He had a couple of good games, but he ain't had no good year. What about Derek Carr? Justin Herbert.
Wait a second. Derek Carr, who outplayed Patrick Mahomes at his home? That guy, 40-32 Raiders?
What about Justin?
Really?
What about Justin Herbert? What about Justin Herbert?
What about him?
He has a higher QBR than Tom Brady.
Yep. He was ahead 24-7 at Tom Brady. And then what happened?
Yeah.
Tom Brady happened.
And his QB, even that happened.
Comeback king happened.
Skip, I get it. It's a great story. I believe Tampa is probably more of the complete team. But the only reason they're saying that is because what's in the NFC. If Tampa was in the AFC and possibly had to go through my homeboy, had to go through the Steelers, or the Ravens, we might be having a different discussion.
But they're not. Because
they're in the NFC.
You play who you have to play.
I believe they potentially have an easier path. It's not that the Steelers are so heavily, this greatly flawed team. It's that the road that they're going to probably have to travel is filled with more minds than what Tampa would have to face.
Okay. So, somebody on this show, way back when, way before the season started, as soon as Tom Brady turned it into Tampa Bay, somebody predicted that the Tampa Bay Succaneers, as they used to be known, would become the best team in the NFC and would get to the Super Bowl, which will be played in Tampa. First home team to ever play in a home field Super Bowl.
Correct.
Somebody said that on this show, and somebody across from him laughed.
Yeah, I did.
Just laughed.
I'm still laughing. It ain't happened yet.
Well, and somebody across from me just uttered the words, Tampa is the most complete team. Somebody said that.
They are.
And that somebody's in the Hall of Fame, so he really knows football.
They are the most complete team.
Most complete team. And he also said, the guy across from me said, everybody, I know everybody's hopping on that bandwagon. Well, it's because the bandwagon is rolling, and it's rolling over people like Aaron Rodgers, 38-10, and it's rolling over Derek Carr and the Raiders at Las Vegas.
All I know is I just saw the team that y'all play Sunday go to Chicago and do something you couldn't do. Drew Brees, remember what down it was.
Yep, he did, and they won in overtime.
What did you guys do?
Somebody across from me who's in the Hall of Fame just said, I don't know. I just don't trust Drew Brees. That's what you basically told me.
I just said he hasn't looked like the Drew Brees that I'm used to seeing.
Okay, so the analysis in question that we're debating right now was in Pro Football Focus, and the contention was simply that Pittsburgh has the ingredients to be the best team in football because they have vaulted to the top of every power rating this week. Across the book, go look for one, ESPN, USA Today, wherever you want to look. Peter King, Pittsburgh has vaulted to #1, and they have earned that right because they are playing at that high of a level. But if you look harder at what happened Sunday at Baltimore, you say, time out. Because, as the analysis points out, at Baltimore, the home team had 450 total yards to 221 for Big Ben's offense.
Double them up.
Really? 79 plays to only 50 plays for the visiting team. How about third down conversions? Lamar went 8 of 15 on third down, and Ben went 3 of 9. What happened? 265 yards rushing for the home team and only 48 for only 48 yards? What happened? Well, you know what happened. The real score was 4-1.
Right.
4 Lamar turnovers to only 1 for Ben Roethlisberger, right? And somehow, even though it went down to the last throw of the game, Lamar's throwing into his end zone, right? It's a little Snead. And if it somehow gets through like 6 hands, because there are 3 DBs all over him, if it gets through, you win.
Right.
But you didn't win.
Right.
And so now we await the rematch on Thanksgiving night.
Right.
But the point is it possible Pittsburgh's a little overrated or at least a little vulnerable? Because now you look at yards gained this year, total yards gained for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They rank 25th in football in yards gained. Well, that's not very good.
That's not very good.
Right?
But I think that a lot of that has to do with, Skip, is that their defense is taking the ball away, putting them on short fields.
Okay, you could argue that the defense is the whole show here because in points scored, they're high. They're in top 10. I forget what it was, but the defense is scoring a lot of points for them. Okay, so now you play them off the Buccaneers and you say, well, Brady has them at 4th in points scored.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that'll work. So, again, Tampa's defense is ranked by Pro Football Focus just 1 notch below the Steelers. So they are 1st and 2nd in defense.
Right.
Okay, so you just gave in. You just acknowledged the fact that the Buccaneers are the more complete team because they got the 4th best offense and the 2nd best defense, while Pittsburgh's offense is is a little shaky.
Yeah, but Skip, you look at their offense, they look like they're averaging about 29 points a game, which will win you a lot of games. But they've been in close ball games. They beat the Broncos 26-21.
Yeah.
Remember, they were dominating the Texans, and then all of a sudden the Texans had an opportunity to tie the game.
Okay.
So there are some concerns. The question is, can they establish the running game? Can they run the clock out? You know, Skip, 4 minutes, you got to lead. You need to run the ball. Can you do that with Connor and Snell? That remains to be seen. The Tampa believes that if they get in their 4-minute offense, they get the 2 tight ends, one wide receiver with Roe Jones and Fournette, they believe they can run the clock out.
All right.
They also believe that if they're behind with Brady, now with AB, they can come back. There's no margin, there's no deficit that they can't overcome.
Okay, so while you are questioning Drew Brees' arm strength at age 41 going on 42, the more I watch Ben, I still enjoy watching him operate because he goes backyard Ben.
Right.
I don't see the cannon he used to have because he's coming off the surgery on his elbow.
Right.
And they're not throwing home runs anymore like they used to.
It's all about getting the ball out quick, Skip, and letting guys make plays. Because he has some guys that can make you miss.
He does.
And get the ball into the end zone. Because all of them look like they at some point in time with punt returners. You get the ball to those guys in space.
Okay, so here's the final contrast. I've told you all year long, since game number 1, Tom Brady has led the league, according to Pro Football Focus, in what they call big-time throws, 20-plus yard completions. Guess who brings up the rear in that category? Who has the fewest? Big Ben. So Tom Brady has the most, Ben has the fewest big-time throws.
Right.
Well, there you go. So who's built to go farther in the postseason? I think what used to be called sucking ears.
Well, Skip, it might be a situation where Ben is turning into Peyton. You remember when Peyton, all of a sudden,
that's true.
You know, you play action, but the Broncos could run the football. It was about getting the ball in guys' hands and let guys make plays. So it's going to be interesting to see. As you mentioned, they get the Ravens again on Thanksgiving. That's going to be a big game because Kansas City's sitting right there. They got one loss.
Yep.
They're sitting right there wanting that #1 seed.
I think the Hall of Famer just acknowledged I was correct about Tampa Bay. That's
Skip.
It's okay.
That what just happened
You're only
there?
partly right.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're only partly right.
No mercy. New Buccaneer Antonio Brown will make his debut Sunday after serving an 8-game suspension. Brown said he's, quote, not a different person, but a better person, and he took time to evaluate himself and look within. When asked about his quarterback and new roommate, AB said, Tom is my boy, one of the greatest leaders to be around. He's been a great guy to have in my corner and one of my close friends. Shannon, are you buying what AB is selling?
Skip, he's saying all the right things. But as my grandpa used to tell my brother and I see better than I hear. Because I've heard all of this before. And then I turn around and see what I've seen. So no one has more to prove, more to do before I believe him than Antonio Brown. I hope everything that he says come to fruition. He's a better person. He's learned from his mistakes, his transgressions. He's ready to move forward, do all the right things. I've heard all of this before. Skip, you remember after he went live, Facebook Live, we had him on the show in Houston. Oh, I was wrong. I'm a team player. That's not like me. All those things, soft monotone, had people convinced. Man, you too hard on AB. AB, he just made one mistake. Everybody bought into it. I said, okay. And then boom, again, and again, and again. Okay, and then they let him go in Pittsburgh, and then he comes out, I'm going to do things by my rules. The NFL don't play by my rules. Hey, forget them. I don't need the NFL. And then guess what? He came to the realization, what he should have done, said, hold on. I'm messing with the NFL. Is this the NFL that suspended Tom Brady, even though he might have didn't do anything, they suspended him? What you think they'll do to me, Skip? He ain't do that. He go to Oakland, act a fool. Go to New England. All you got to do, he should have thrown his phone away. He should say, Tom, what you do with that phone? That phone that the NFL was looking for, what you do with it? Tom said, I beat it up. Well, he should have beat his up, and he'd have still been in New England. Nope. So
Tom changes phones once a year. That's all he did.
I'm just saying he might have scrubbed it like old Secretary Clinton.
Yeah, right.
He scrubbed it. Still, nobody had, I believe it when I see it. I hope everything that he said is true. But, Skip, I can't put no stock in AB. I really can't, Skip, because I've been burned too many times. I mean, normally you tell a kid, hot, but they won't believe you until they touch it. AB told me he's changed. I believed him. Nope, nah, you ain't gonna get me again. You have to show me for an extended period of time. And I'm not just talking about for the rest of this season. You basically got to show me for the rest of your career before I believe anything that you gonna say.
So, if AB had signed with Seattle, or let's say even Green Bay, and I had seen him do that press session he did yesterday, I would have just muted my TV. I just watch his lips go blah, 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 because it's just a lot of blah, blah. We've heard it all before 1,000 times, but the actions have never matched the words.
Correct.
Got it. I am buying now what he's selling because reportedly he is living with Tom Brady. That's all I need to know. I still say Tom Brady over 20 years has proven to be the greatest leader in sports history.
Okay.
And you can be cynical all you want, and you could be right. And usually I'd be right beside you on this. Just because it's Brady and it's last chance as you say, this is it for Antonio Brown as we knew and sometimes loved him. This is it. If he blows this shot, a second shot with the GOAT, this league is going to be out on him. And he has to know that. And it sounds like Tony Robbins has helped, being able to get with self-help guru, thanks to Brady opening that door. Maybe it has helped a little bit. Maybe he got some other counseling. I loved what he said because how can you not? It wasn't just saying the right thing. It was saying the greatest things you could ever think to say. I don't know if he had help on this, but it was like he's reading from a book, you know, like a classic novel, because every quote was, you know, this whole thing about it feels surreal to be out there on the field with these guys after a year and a half away, something I don't take for granted. I have a great appreciation, a better perspective. It's such a blessing.
So now he doesn't take it for granted? So when you in Pittsburgh as a 6th-round draft pick, work your way up, you took that for granted. You go to Oakland, even after you got unceremoniously released from Pittsburgh, you parlay that into 2 years, $30 million, guaranteed. But you took that for granted. You get a reprieve, Skip. You go to the greatest run organization at the time, greatest GOAT head coach, GOAT quarterback. You took that for granted. So this is the time that you're not taking anything for granted. So you want me to, so all the other times, I shouldn't have believed what you said. This is the time you want me to believe you.
That is correct.
Skip. I can't.
I'm not a different person, said Antonio Brown. I'm just a better person. Okay? Boy, I don't know.
Don't you want to see, Skip?
Yeah, I want to see it. But then on Brady, he just raved, as he should have. Just saying it. Is it just lip service?
Skip, if I vouch for you, you better co-sign me.
Tom is my boy, said AB. One of the greatest leaders to be around, encouraging, inspiring, gets the best out of the people around him. I'll buy all that. Greatest quarterback of all time, bingo. Nothing I've done in the past matters to him now. Okay?
Yes.
Good?
Yes.
Fresh start.
Exactly.
Let's start over.
Yes.
Okay, got it. It's so great to learn from him, be around him, live around him, discipline, work ethic, approach. He's always been a great guy in my corner and one of my close friends. We debated yesterday, can they really be friends? You're like, pretty skeptical to the point of cynical about that. I'm buying.
Okay.
It seems like he's at the right place at the perfect time, and he is really lucky because usually you don't get 2 shots with the GOAT.
Right.
What are the odds? The GOAT had to leave New England because Antonio burned the bridge with Robert Kraft by tweeting about him. Like, you got caught, now you're trying to blame me, right? Okay. And now it took Tom Brady going to Tampa and convincing a coach who was completely out on AB because he coached him for his first, 2 years in the league? And
saw what he was becoming.
Just saw it. Called him a diva, said, bad fit, wrong guy for our locker room. But the GOAT said, Bruce, BA, no, you got to do this. And the GOAT vouched.
I think that... And
the GOAT put his tail on the line with BA and said, I got this.
Tom had, Skip, you and I both know, had Tom still been in New England, AB's not coming back to New England. So he had to go to an organization where he's mythical there. See, the Patriots look at Tom Brady, I mean, Mr. Kraft, He looks at him like a son.
Yep.
But Coach Belichick, who's running thing, he looks at Tom just like he's any other player. Tom Brady is the greatest. He's the greatest quarterback. Okay, fine, give you that. One of the top 2 or 3 players, I give you that. But that's not how Coach Belichick sees him.
Yep.
He goes anywhere else, Skip. That's how everybody else views him. So he comes with a level of cachet in Tampa he was never going to get in New England. Tom Brady could have said, I want this guy, that guy, and Coach Belichick would have gone the opposite. He said, I want A. Coach Belichick go come back with C. He ain't going to even get him B. He going to get him C, Skip, because that's how Coach Belichick operates. But for Tom Brady to put his name on the line, that's saying so. And I get that, Skip. I give you that. But I still believe at the end of the day, in this menu, sports, there's a menu, Skip. And unfortunately on this menu, there's only 2 items, wins and losses.
Yep.
And
people go to your restaurant only if they lose.
Cowboys. Yep. Cowboys come. I mean, I can't keep them out of there. I need them to stop coming by my restaurant, Skip.
So I will admit that AB lost me with his final declaration yesterday when he went so far as to say, no matter what BA says, he always has good intentions for his player. I wouldn't be here without him today. And then responding to what got said back and forth, social media between BA and AB. Yeah. They're flipped initials.
Right.
AB said, things said online, I don't know or pay a lot of attention to. You tweeted it. You tweeted. You blasted your coach. And it was just like, wasn't it like 2 months ago or whatever?
But that's the thing, right? Skip. It's like, he does things like, oh. And see, the problem is that hopefully what Tony Robbins told him, bruh, a lot of them people in your corner, them yes guys, they tell you what you want to hear. They're not telling you what you need to know. So they would go, oh yeah, AB, tell him, AB. Man, AB done made enough money. He don't need the NFL. Man, they get AB, you walk, do you, AB? Now, you see, I had to come, you know, I learned a lot, you know, I'm a better.
Yep.
Okay. You let the people gas you up if you want to.
I am sure there will be some minor incidents along this trail toward the Super Bowl.
It better not be, Skip. He gone.
I said minor incidents.
What's minor?
Little tiny incidents.
What, Skip? You can't.
Maybe he'll throw a cup of Gatorade as opposed to the whole container.
Skip, you can't come late. You got to be early. You got to be early, Skip.
Yeah.
First of all, Tom Brady's a guy that doesn't like to be. He's a punctual.
If you're riding to work with Tom Brady, you're going early.
Yes.
I'm just picturing the dynamic at Tom's house. Like, where is he sleeping? Is he hanging with the kids in his free time? It's really interesting. No mercy. With the Cowboys starting their 4th quarterback of the season against the undefeated Steelers on Sunday, more attention than ever will be on Ezekiel Elliott. In Zeke's last game against Pittsburgh in 2016, he scored 3 touchdowns, including the game winner in the final minute. Zeke said that was one of his favorite games as a Cowboy, but also said, quote, it does kind of seem like it was forever ago. Former Cowboy Orlando Scandrick joining us this morning. Orlando, good morning. So you were there in 2016. Can you see Zeke recapturing any of that 2016 magic?
I don't know. Zeke, he's a different player right now. I mean, the talent is still there, but as you can see from a weight perspective, Zeke's a little bit heavier than he was. That's 4 years ago, I believe. He's got a lot of carries on his body, and it's a totally different team now, a totally different offense. Things are different. You know, you got a team with no quarterback, so you're going to get a lot of 8-man fronts, a lot of different type of 8-man fronts. And, you know, this weekend with the Steelers defense, I don't even see him getting anything close to what he got a few years ago.
I concur with everything you said, and I said the exact same thing earlier, is that when you look at it, in 2016, he had 3 of the top 160 offensive linemen in all of football. His left tackle, his center, and his right guard were first-team All-Pro, along with Zeke. The offense was built around Zeke. Offense ran through Zeke. So, and Zeke, and as you said, that was 1,000 carries ago. Zeke is a different player now than what he was then. And the offensive line is different now than what it is then. And when you don't have a quarterback that a defense respects, you're getting all my undivided attention. That's what made Adrian Peterson and the great running backs so special. Eric Dickerson, because he really never had a quarterback, and he still went and got 2,100. He still got 1,800. Look at Adrian Peterson. He had Christian Ponder and got almost 2,100 yards. Zeke
By the way, real quick on Eric Dickerson, he had Dieter Brock. Do you remember that?
I do remember
He got
Dieter
to the
Brock.
NFC Championship game with Dieter Brock. That's how great Eric was. Go ahead.
And so I agree with everything you said, I don't see, and it's nice to reminisce. Sometimes I go home and I pop in a DVD and I look at my old self like, man, I'm pretty good back in the day. But them days ain't ever coming back. Zeke.
You pop in DVDs of yourself?
Well, it's a VCR.
Egomania.
VHS.
Yeah, I got you're exactly right. I got
He's in the 80s.
I put the cat, push it in. I still got one of them to get pop the tape in with more blockbuster tape.
And
I
you
pop it
can't
in.
really recognize who that guy was?
Yeah, it's real bad. I was like, ooh. Sure wish I need to get them things downloaded on DVD. But I agree with you, I don't see Zeke rekindling that flame, being that guy again. He can be good, but the days of him being the top dog, him being that guy, I think it's over.
Let's just call it wishful thinking.
Yeah, okay, wishful thinking.
So, Orlando.
Yes.
I need your help on this. You know Ezekiel Elliott. You played with the man. You're friends with the man. You get it. I love the man, but I miss him. I don't get to see this very often. Maybe once a game, twice a game, I get to see this. I look back at that 2016 game, which was this week exactly 4 years ago at Pittsburgh. I did not think you guys could win that game. Dak had a big game, but Zeke had a bigger game. And you brought up a very interesting point to me. I'm just using my eye test. As much as I love him, he's gained some weight. He came back from Cabo last year when he got his money a little heavy. And it looks like he's more fullback than halfback now. So is that what you're seeing? Was he much sleeker and 4.4 faster back in 2016?
I think he was younger. I think he was more hungry. I think, with success, the hardest thing to deal with in this NFL and life and just everything in general and all aspects of life is success. And I think Zeke had a little bit of trouble dealing with success. I don't know if he's taken his offseason regimen to what it was before, but I remember when he first got there, when he came off of I believe Ohio State won the national championship. When he first got there, he was a little heavy. He worked to get into shape. He worked to get into great shape. And then he goes and he has the ongoing back and forth legal issue. He's suspended. Is he not? Then he goes to Cabo, serves a suspension, and he comes back. And all you keep hearing is he's leaner. And it's just like when you want to be that top dog and you are that top dog, you got to treat your body as your temple. You know this. You played for a long time. How you treat your body is how it's going to treat you. And you don't see these explosive runs. You don't see these, explosive catch, run after the catch. And I just think they're using them in the wrong way. You're trying to play them every down. You want to make them a third down back. You want to make them run routes. And, they just not the same team anymore. When I watch the Cowboys, I have no idea who they are. They don't have no identity. We hear, okay, we're going to play through Zeke. The first few games you got Dak. It's 3 wide receivers. And then you get the kid DiNucci last game. And then I'm looking at the Dallas Cowboys. Now they're running 3 tight ends, and they don't even have a fullback on the roster. They're running 3 tight ends and just Zeke and just trying to run it up the middle against the strength of Philadelphia. It was simply pathetic. And I look for this weekend to see for the Steelers defense to just say, they just another team with a different helmet that's in the way. And I look for them to be dominant.
The question that I have is that when I look at top athletes, I look at their lifestyle. Is Zeke's lifestyle conducive for being that dog that he once was? That's what the question that Zeke has to ask himself. Am I doing everything I possibly can in the offseason? What's my lifestyle like? What's my training regimen like? What's my eating habits like? What is everything that I need to be that? That's what you have to admire, because anybody can do it one time. I heard Tiger Woods talking like, anybody can have a dominate, make the field look bad, and they can do it for a week and maybe a month. But can you do it for 3 years? Can you do it for 5 years? Can you do it for a decade? I saw Zeke do it for a little while. Can he?
The thing is, he's that good that he's always going to be in the top half of rushing. But if he took it serious and he did, and I'm a big sports fan, so I read these guys. I read Russell Wilson spends $1 million on his body. We all know how LeBron James take care of his body. Now imagine if, Zeke did take care of his body like that. And one thing when I played him during my 12 years, I always said, I don't want to be sitting back here or sitting back on TV one day and then saying, what if I would have did it this way?
Yep.
And for Zeke, I'm just afraid that it's getting to the point where it's like, what if I just would have, took my diet more serious? Can I sacrifice for a decade of my life to live great for the next 40 years of my life? And I mean, he's going to live fantastic. He got a big old contract. he's going to make a lot of money. He's going to be a Dallas Cowboy. And he was on the way to being a Hall of Famer. But now it's like, is he just going to be a guy that had a good 4 or 5 years? Or is he going to continue and have a good 10 years like Adrian Peterson, Eric Dickerson?
So back to what happened Sunday night at Philadelphia. You said it was hard for you to even watch it. You can't recognize them. There's no identity. But I'm going to remind you, the rookie corner made another play on Carson Wentz early in the third quarter. Trevon Diggs picked it off in the end zone, ran it back out to the 31, and here came Zeke. And I got to watch 3 plays of good old days Zeke. He went 9 yards, 6 yards, and 8 yards, and then he's out of the game. Are you gassed after 3 carries? I don't know. and here comes Tony Pollard. And I like Tony Pollard, but obviously he's not 2016 Zeke. And Tony Pollard gets 7, then 2, and then 9. And I'm saying, wait a second, even with DiNucci at quarterback, we're about to take it in to go up 16-7. Well, that would seem like it was 30-7, right? In a game like that against Carson, walk it to him, give it to him, Wentz, right?
Skip. We've just, I don't know how to put this. We've just seen lack of explosive plays that now we're at the point where we're getting excited over 9-yard carries.
Okay, I got it. But at least it looked like it was starting to work even with Tony Pollard. And again, is Zeke not in enough shape to finish the drive? What would Eric Dickerson or Walter Payton or Jim Brown? There's no way you're coming out of that game.
At this point in time, you should be in peak condition right now. 8 weeks into the season.
Eric Dickerson, Adrian Peterson, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, they're waving you off. No.
They would be outraged.
How many times you waved off the other guy? How many times you waved him off?
You feed me out and called me 2 or 3. I wish you would bring a tight end in and tell me give you a blow.
What?
Blow, you better get out of here.
What are you doing? So Orlando, what happens? They bring Zeke back in. He gets only 2 yards, and they resort to more trickery. They think they have to trick the Eagles. They try Cedric Wilson on a reverse pass. It gets blown up, -10. They miss the field goal, and that was the end of DiNucci's Cowboys as we knew and didn't love them, right?
So, Skip, I'm sitting there, and good friends with Kellen Moore, college teammates, offensive coordinator.
Yep.
So I'm watching, and I say, a double reverse? I'm scratching my head. A double reverse? I said, this is not, you're not playing against Colorado State.
No.
Like, come on, these guys up front is too big and too fast for this. And if you allow these defensive linemen to run around blocks and make plays, of course, Fletcher Cox he'll run around blocks and make plays all day.
Because what is Fletcher gonna do? He's in the 3 technique. He gonna run up the field, so he gonna run right into the play.
He was like, "Thank you."
Now, if it was going the other way, you might have had him. But you running the play, he runs upfield, and here comes Cedric Wilson right into his arm. He's like, "Thank you."
It's hurt. It's painful to watch. It's painful to watch, and it is. It's just painful. It's painful to watch.
Yeah.
It's painful to watch because I know how much some of those guys there wanted. The guys that I know how much they wanted. But it's like your heart got to match what you putting out. Your heart got to match what you putting into the atmosphere. And then when your running back has 5 fumbles in 7 games, he seems like he's a little bit overweight. You got players on defense going back that's not, maintaining their assignments. There was some bright spots on defense. Diggs, he made some plays. DeMarcus Lawrence is starting to play really hard again, starting to play well again. But right now, the Cowboys are in a bad shape. The wheels are off. And, the faster that they admit it and, figure out the way that they can salvage the season, just play hard, just play together, find out who can be core, integral pieces of your program, of your team, of your organization going forward. And the guys that aren't, you got to just move on from them.
Man, this is depressing.
Yeah.
Jenny, save me.
I mean, Skip, has it sunk in yet? I mean, you're still holding on hope.
No mercy.
Tonight, Aaron Rodgers leads the NFC North leading Packers against the 49ers. It all starts at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox NFL Network and streaming on Prime Video. That's tonight, and then this weekend, Fox NFL insider Jay Glazer will be with Cooper Manning at Marine Corps Air Station Miramar to honor Veterans Day. Jay, we know you do a ton of work with veterans. Your organization, MVP, Merging Vets with Players, has helped so many veterans over the years. How special is it to visit these military bases every year with Fox NFL Sunday? I did it with you a couple years ago. It's incredible.
It's one of the greatest things that I do at Fox, and that Fox does. I joined Fox in 2004, and since then, they have sent me or us, our Fox NFL Sunday crew, to a military base every Veterans Day and or Thanksgiving, and it's a difference for them. It really does. And that's, one of the things on Veterans Day is we're celebrating our veterans. And I think a lot of times it's hard for our vets to remember it's okay to celebrate yourself. It's okay to love yourself up. So when we come out there and we celebrate them, it's great to see us lift them up, but at the same time, they lift us up. It's beautiful.
So, Jay, we appreciate all you do there, but let's talk a little football. Let's talk some Cowboys. You were the first to report that Aldon Smith, after 5 years out of football, had turned back into a force, a monster. You had been working out with him at your gym. You had been monitoring his sobriety, and you were so right. He is now a rebuilding block for that Cowboy defense. How proud are you of Aldon on and off the field?
Look, I was proud before he ever stepped on the field. And I was proud of the vulnerability that he showed. I knew Aldon when he played for the 49ers. I didn't like him. This isn't the same guy. And look, when he first came in there, it was our veterans that picked him back up. He came in to our gym not to play football again, but to get help and to work with our veterans here at MVP, where we put our combat vets and our former NFL players and other pro athletes together to give them a tribe again. That's the biggest thing is when the uniform comes off, a lot of them, they forget what their greatness is. It's not the uniform, but what's behind your rib cage. And when you put them on a new team, a new tribe, that reminds them of how great they are. And they can do great things moving forward. So when he got in this group and opened up in front of all these strangers and said, hey, I'm not in the league because they screwed me over. I'm not in the league because of me. That was me. This was not a right of mine. And I didn't protect that enough. He said, this was on me to do something. And he suddenly opens up to the entire group and said, you know what? For the longest time, I didn't feel worthy of it. I didn't feel worthy of being loved. And now because of this group of veterans, it's the first time that I feel worthy of being Aldon Smith. I feel worthy of this love. And it just changed. It changed who he was. He started working on sobriety with our veterans. When we opened up our New York City chapter, he flew out there to talk to our players and vets about sobriety. And once he started saying, I really want to use my story to be of service to other people, that's how I was like, hey, man, you ever think about playing in the NFL again? He's like, yeah, but it's been 5 years. I'm like, hey, don't worry about that, Ed. Let's go walk this walk together. And the coolest thing that happened, and these are these moments that I think go beyond being an NFL insider, what we cover, is he calls me when he gets the contract from the Cowboys. And he says, where are you? I said, home. He said, is your son there? I said, yes. He said, I want to come over and sign this contract in front of your son. I want him to see what his dad did. And we sat here outside, signed the contract, kind of looked down. He said, well, that's a wrap. Thank God. I said, yep, thank God. And he said, Jay, you don't understand what you've done. I said, no, it's incredible. And, we had that moment. He said, no, Jay, when we first met, I was sleeping under a car. I didn't feel worthy of sleeping in a house. And now here I am back in the NFL. You don't understand what we've really done. And, hey, guys, no one's questioning my manhood when I cried. I cried my eyes out that day.
Jay, you mentioned this. I mean, the guy, and Aldon says that I was away from the game for 5 years. You look at what he's been able to do, and it's a great story for him to overcome what he overcame and to get back in the NFL. But, Jay, I believe he'll be better next year. People don't understand when you're away from something, football is a skill. Obviously, he still has the skill. But to retrain your body, to retrace those steps, and to do what you've been doing for an extended period of time, I believe this year, now he might end up with double-digit sacks, but I believe next year will be exponentially better than this year. What about you?
Yeah, I do also, because look, what he's trying to get used to right now, you see it. First few weeks, man, he was able to kind of run free, get the matchups he wanted, and now he's just getting double-teamed and chipped, and you're right. He's got to get used to that, what it does to your body again, and they are definitely beating the crap out of him out there. But look, we sent him back at 287 pounds. He tore the last few months, he tore my labrum, 2 rotator cuffs, tears, and 2 bone spurs in this shoulder. And we all just kept working him. He just started, getting better and stronger and better and stronger. I don't know if I've ever had somebody put their hands on me this strong in my life. And we've trained some strong dudes in the past, man. The Kyle Longs of the world, and Myles Garrett, people like that. And man, there's nothing like this guy when he puts his hands on you.
Well, Jay, I think he's going to be signing another contract fairly soon here.
Yeah, you know what? Seattle tried 4 times to trade for him last week, and the Cowboys, nope, every time.
Nope, he is there. So let's change subjects. You're also plugged into the New Orleans Saints. What are we seeing so far from Drew Brees? Do you, from what you're hearing, just educated guessing, is this it? Is this the last go-round for Drew Brees? And does he have enough left to lift this team to another Super Bowl championship?
Yeah, this is it for Drew. And it's real interesting because this offseason, if Drew retired, where at one point it looked like it was trending that way, and all of a sudden he decided, no, I'm going to have one more year. But had he retired, Tom Brady was their target, and New Orleans is where Brady wanted to go.
Wow.
So, you know, you kind of look at the what ifs would have happened there if Brees actually did retire.
So what's going on with the Michael Thomas situation? I mean, he gets injured, he comes back, he gets into a fight, and now is he out because of the suspension still being suspended, or is he injured? What's going on with that, Glazer?
No, I know that everybody looked at it that way also, but they actually MRI'd him. The hamstring showed that there's a grade 1 strain in that hamstring, which is a little tear in that hamstring. So, no, they ended up putting him down because they didn't want him to re-injure that going forward. And by the way, the guy he got in the fight with was the same guy who got in the fight, or who, you know, the Williams from the Chicago Bears the other night. Same defensive back for the States.
So so that DB has a way of getting up under people's skin, huh?
I guess he does, yeah. Yeah, you know a little thing about that, don't you?
A little bit.
So what
I don't know, you must have read your how-to book.
Yeah. What's your gut feeling? Do you like the Bucs or the Saints better to win the NFC?
Oh, man, just the way that, you know, the way the Bucs are starting to gel and the way Brady, I think Tom Brady and Bruce Arians had to meet somewhere in the middle. And what I mean by that is Bruce just likes to throw downfield. And he complains about the picks, but he'd rather you throw downfield and throw a bunch of picks and they hit a bunch of home runs. Tom Brady likes to gut you from the inside out, right? Likes to start low and underneath and then start going from there. So those two guys had to somewhere meet in the middle, and I think they have. And as a result of that, you see what Tom's doing right now. And that defense is, man, it's one of those defenses in the NFL. I think the 2 best defenses in the NFL are in Florida right now, and the Dolphins and the Bucs.
Really? Wow.
No mercy. Well, Skip's Cowboys still haven't decided if Garrett Gilbert or Cooper Rush is going to start at quarterback Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but Shannon doesn't care. Fox Bet currently has Dallas as a 13.5-point underdog, so Shannon bet Skip a case of due yesterday that the Cowboys won't be able to cover that spread. So Skip, scale of 1 to 10, what is your confidence level in the Cowboys keeping it closer than 2 touchdowns with one of these QBs?
7. Maybe, no, wait, let me rethink that. I think I'll go to 8.
What?
8.
Oh, that's Ben DiNucci's number. And then it's 7. You see, you bad.
I'm going to guess that Cooper Rush will be the quarterback on Sunday. I have always liked Cooper Rush. I didn't say I loved him, but I like him because I have watched him a lot because I watch all the preseason games, and he's played a whole bunch of preseason football over the last 3 years for my Dallas Cowboys. In fact, he's played 11 preseason games. He's completed 65% of his passes, albeit against guys who weren't even going to make the team or be in the league. I got it. But he threw 8 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions in those preseason games. And the Cowboys thought enough of him to give him $2.1 million to be the backup quarterback going into this season before Andy Dalton fell out of the sky into their laps. And they said, aha, we want the best backup quarterback in the league as opposed to Cooper Rush, who was backed up at Dak Prescott the last 3 years. And Dak obviously was Iron Man of the NFL and never hurt, right? You doubting me?
No, I'm just saving it.
So I don't love Garrett Gilbert because I watched too much of him at the University of Texas, where I watched him complete 13 touchdown passes alongside 23 interceptions, which got him out of the University of Texas to SMU, where he had one good year, 21-7 interceptions. And he actually got drafted as opposed to Cooper Rush. He was a 6th-round pick of the Rams in 2014. But I will take Cooper Rush, who, by the way, is only 26 years old. I think he does have a little future in the league. And I will tell you this. He will not unravel like Benjamin Anthony DiNucci did the other night, B-A-D, because he just was bad in the game at Philadelphia. He was overmatched. He was in way over his head. So I believe that Cooper Rush can do one thing on Sunday against the Steelers at home. He will protect the football. I believe he can play a clean game, albeit against the sack masters that are the Steelers. It's Blitzburg. They're going to come after you. Tampa comes after you too, but so does Pittsburgh. But I believe he will hang on to the football. So if he has if they can play a 0 turnover game, and my defense can play as inspired as it did at Philly, where, remember, D-Law, Trevon Diggs made the Pro Football Focus weekly all-pro team, right? And I actually saw Jalen Smith and Wolf Hunter flying around like it was 2018. Okay. I actually saw my safeties, Xavier Woods and Donovan Wilson. I saw them make a couple of plays. They actually jumped off my... Yeah, I did. And I'm thinking, if you guys could just create 2 more turnovers like the 4 you created on Give It To Him Wentz, well, hey, a couple of turnovers, could they just hang in? Could Zeke do a little more of this? Sure, he could. Could Tony Pollard maybe do a little of this? Yes, he could. So I'm thinking they could catch Pittsburgh coming off their big win of the year against their arch rival on the road at Baltimore and just catch them a little flat. It's called a trap game. It's called any double-digit spread in this league. Any professional gambler will say, I'll take that. So you gave me 13.5, not just 10. I got 13.5 points with a team that on paper is much better than its 2-6 record.
No, you're not.
Yes, we are.
Well, as Coach Parcells just say, you are what your record says you are.
Well, I say we're not.
Actually, you should be over. You should be 0-8. Okay. You know that, and I know that. Because you should have lost to the Falcons, and you should have lost to the Giants.
Andy Dalton saved us.
Yes.
Yep.
So you really should. You're right.
Okay.
You're worse than on paper.
Okay, I say we're better because they have underachieved all year until my defense came back to life at Philadelphia. So I got a good feeling about this plus 13.
Your defense came back to life and let Walker to him go right back down the field and score to him. That was Walker to him did, right?
No, what I saw was Ben DiNucci get stripped, and I saw Vinny Curry on the ground with the football, and he was obviously down.
He wasn't down.
And yet they say,
well, stop fighting.
Okay, Connor Williams finally fought. He did what you wanted him to do for Andy Dalton. He kept fighting. He rips the ball out of Vinny Curry's hands when he was clearly down. And your team, the Green Eagles, they returned it all the way for a touchdown that breaks the game open. Way to go, Shannon.
This is what I have a hard time. Okay, you say the Cowboys thought enough of Cooper Rush to tender him $2.1 million. But yet when Andy Dalton came available, they said, nah, you gone. If he's what you thought he was, why would you do that?
Andy Dalton's a 3-time Pro Bowler.
But hold on. You got a young guy that you believe in. You see what everybody else does when they got a young guy they believe in, they clear the deck for him. That's what they did in Tampa with Tua. They believed in Tua. They said, oh, hey, Fitzpatrick, take a seat. You see what they do when they got a young guy they believe in? Okay, if this guy you believed in, why would you need Andy Dalton?
The Dolphins wanted Joe Burrow. It was reported widely before the draft that they had their eye on Burrow.
A lot of teams wanted Joe Burrow.
Trade for him.
Okay, I just want you to tell me, if Cooper Rush was all that, chips and salsa, why would you need Andy Dalton, who had just gone 2-11, and was the reason why Cincinnati got Joe Burrow?
Andy Dalton's first 5 years in the league averaged 10 wins a year.
That'd have been great had he stopped at 5 years, but he kept playing. Okay. And so look at the last 4 years.
Andy Dalton has played in 4 playoff games in this league. So who would you want? Well, obviously you take the Andy Dalton.
If Cooper Rush did what you believed he was.
Okay.
And look at your offense. So who's going to protect him from getting hit in his head from T.J. Watt and Bud Dupree?
He will. He will protect. He will get rid of the football, he will protect.
If you don't mind me asking, Skip, how many games have you guys played this year in which you did not turn the football over? So here's the game. Dak Prescott, the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, DiNucci, everybody's turned the ball over. So now you're on your 4th-string quarterback, but he going to protect the ball. Okay.
You heard it here first.
Number 7.
Cooper Rush. He's pretty good. I like his body language. I like his poise. I like the way he handles himself.
I like his body language, too, when I see him like this on the ground.
Yeah. Okay.
After T.J. Watt put that thing on him.
What did I tell you earlier in the show about the Pittsburgh Steelers? I give you the defense. It's hellacious good.
Yes.
I will not give you the offense. it's being overrated. It basically got run off the field at Baltimore, but Lamar gave it back 4 times, and Ben only turned it over 1 time.
But Skip, let me ask you this. See, you let what happened Sunday night skew what has happened in the previous 6 games. So you take a little flash. D-Law played unbelievable. Trayvon Diggs made some plays. Now all of a sudden you want to disregard the previous 5-7 games, right?
Did you see Randy Gregory flash the other night?
No, I saw him jump offside. I saw him hit the guy in the legs to get him on 3rd down, get a penalty to keep a drive alive. I saw that. Did you see that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Aldon Smith and Ty Crawford.
Okay.
That front's pretty good. I think it's come back to life.
Skip.
Linebackers are pretty good. We even got Sean Lee back.
Skip, your front's pretty good. You're 2-6. How that I'm trying to figure this out.
They revolted against Mike Nolan's scheme. And the locker room was full of malcontents, all of them free agent signees on defense by Jerry Jones. And last week he said, you're all gone.
Okay.
He ran them all off except for Aldon Smith.
Yeah.
I just told Jay Glazer, a rebuilding block.
Right.
So he probably wasn't rebelling against the scheme because he was just happy to be in any scheme.
Right.
After 5 years
Well,
out. So D-Law said after the game, you know, I'm paraphrasing the quote, but it was like, we finally made peace with the scheme and we're saying, okay, we'll try to do it the way it's supposed to be played. And that was the first sign of life I've seen from my defense all year. So maybe if you clear the locker room of malcontents who were justifiably doubting the defense, because I told you I would drop the mic on Mike Nolan. He'd be gone after 6 games, but he's still there because Jerry's doing that passive-aggressive tanking. But we're not talking about winning the game. All I need to do is come within 13.5 points of a team that is playing what is known as a trap game. So I'm good to go. Thank you for that.
What I don't understand is that you talk about Pittsburgh's defense. What happens when Philly doesn't turn the ball over 4 times? So if Pittsburgh doesn't turn the ball over 4 times, like Philly turned the ball over against you, then what?
Okay. What if you realize we'd forced 3 turnovers the first 7 games of the year, and in the 8th game we forced 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can flip the script on you. What if we had created forced turnovers 10 or 12 in the first 7 games? What do you think would have happened?
Skip.
We might have won 3.
What's your MO? What's your MO? Your MO is that you don't create turnovers. So the likelihood of you getting another game where you have 3 or 4 turnovers
are contagious. Mike Tomlin talked about it yesterday. We are going to have to protect the ball because now they got a taste of what it feels like.
So is
they
poor
come
play.
In bunches.
So is your offense.
Yep.
It's contagious. Y'all terrible. It's contagious. Swept through the offense.
I got 13.5 points against a Roethlisberger offense that is ranked 25th in the league in yards gained.
Where
25th?
What about where are they ranked in points gained? What about points gained?
Well, all I know is my defense will challenge Roethlisberger's
Is 29
offense.
points the game any good? Could I interest you in that?
It's fair.
It's fair.
I mean, it's not Tampa Bay, but...
how many points did Tampa Bay score on Sunday?
25? You mean Monday night?
Monday night. Yeah, how many did they score? 25 against the Giants.
23. Yep. Giants are really good on defense.
Really?
I've been trying to tell you that all year.
You believe the Giants
Very
are better?
underrated.
Are they better on defense than Baltimore? Because Pittsburgh scored more. They got 28 against Baltimore.
Pittsburgh had 221 total yards at Baltimore.
I'm talking about the defense.
221.
Y'all be lucky to have that on Sunday. Y'all offense be lucky to have that.
You know what? I like it better. I just went to a 9 on my confidence scale. Wait, do you want to give me some more?
No.
Let's do 15.
Your confidence is that they cover, not that they win.
I didn't say they were going to win.
Hey, that's my point. So
it's my point.
No. What's your confidence level that they win the game?
Well, 0.
Okay.
Why would? That's not what we're discussing.
That's okay. That's all I want.
Okay.
You want to give me 15?
No.
What do you think the score is going to be? Like 40-3?
No, I think. Hold on. I had the score right here.
Yeah. You got a Pittsburgh-Dallas score?
Yeah. You want it?
Yep.
No
mercy.
Tomorrow night on FS1, it's one of the most anticipated non-conference college football games of the year. Number 9, BYU takes on number 21, Boise State. Tune in tomorrow night at 9:45 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. The Texans are 1-6 and have an interim coach and GM, and J.J. Watt isn't happy about the team's prospects. Watt said, quote, "It's no secret I don't have 10 years left in this league. I'm not looking to rebuild. I'm looking to go after a championship." So Shannon, Do you have any problem with what JJ said here?
I have no problem with what he said, and the writing is on the wall for him, Skip, and he knows they're in a rebuild mode, but I don't know how they rebuild when you don't have a first and second round pick coming next year. And JJ understands that, Skip, he's closer to the end than the beginning, and he's looking around him, and he's like, damn, at one point in time, we were winning the division every year, making the playoffs, and now that's gone. Now, I don't know, JJ, he's a fixture. Arguably, he's the greatest Texans player. You know, maybe the wide receiver, Andre Johnson, they can contend that, but that's for this discussion. I'm going to say JJ is the greatest Texans player. Skip, he might, if he wants to reach his ultimate goal, he might need to. Next year's salary, $17.5 million, is not guaranteed. All the guaranteed money he was doing, big, massive contract he signed, has been paid in full. If I'm JJ and I really want to win a title and I don't believe I can do it there, ask him to trade you or just release me, let me go somewhere. Let me pick a team that I feel that can give me an opportunity. He's too good of a player not to at least have that attempt on his resume. Skip, and I know it gets hard to leave when you've been a fixture at a location for as long as JJ has, but at the end of the day, if he wants a chance at a title, I don't believe it's going to come in Houston, and he's probably going to have to leave. But I had no problem with what he said.
Well, time out. What he said was basically, get me out of here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you said he should ask for a trade. He just did.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Skip, go behind close. Hey, you know what? I said what I said, you know, but I really meant it. You've been speaking up a lot lately, Skip. You noticed that?
You said the magic words, go behind closed doors.
Yeah.
The reason this offended me for the sake of longtime hardcore Houston Texans fans, and I know a bunch of them, is that he is the face of the franchise. Always has been. You can argue he's the greatest Texan ever.
Right. We'll see what Deshaun has to say in another 10, 12 years. But right as of now.
But he is and has become iconic in that city.
Yes.
J.J. Watt.
Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Correct. I didn't want to hear this from him because you're rubbing everybody's nose in the fact that your team is 1-6. And they don't want to hear it, especially from you. So as the leader of the team and a figure that the whole Texans nation, that whole area of Texas looks up to, why would you go public with this? Because this was a trade demand to me. This is, please get me out of here. I'm not a rebuilding block anymore. I'm 31 years old. I'm in my 10th season. You know, he's been hurt a lot, man.
Especially the last 3, 4 years, Skip.
Because he went 5 years and didn't miss a game the first 5, and the last 5 he's missed 32 games. That's a lot of games.
That is.
And he was saying yesterday, well, I fought back from injury because I got a taste of it early, and it looked like this pro football was pretty easy because right out of the box, his rookie year, they win the division for the first time. And then they won a playoff game for the first time. And then a couple of years later, they go 2-14. And you argued the first day we were ever on this show that J.J. Watt was the best player in football at that point.
Because, Skip, in his first 5 years, he had, like 3 defensive player of the years. He finished, second or third in MVP, which is unheard of for a defensive player.
Now we're back to Aaron Donald syndrome. I always argue back that they're not quarterbacks, so they can't do what Deshaun does. And the reason the most was for Deshaun's sake, even though he echoed the comments and said, well, I don't want to be part of rebuilding either, you do have Deshaun. So when you got Deshaun, you got a shot.
You got a chance. You got a chance, yes.
And I know it all fell apart because of Bill O'Brien. When you got Bill O'Brien, you don't have a chance. That's just me.
But the thing was, Skip, and he ruined it.
He did.
Because the left tackle, Dwayne Brown, is playing unbelievable for Russell Wilson, and you got mad because the owner said something, and he stepped like, nah, that's unacceptable. And you took it personal, just like DeAndre Hopkins.
Bill O'Brien took it personal. I think the owner also took Dwayne Brown personal.
And so y'all got him out of there, a premier left tackle. Premier. Hard to come by.
And ask Seattle how hard they
You trade DeAndre Hopkins for a bag of apples and some Gatorade. David Johnson, a second-round pick for DeAndre Hopkins. All he's doing is leading the league in receiving.
It's just an all-time horrible trade. It took the life and heart out of the Texans.
And think about this, Skip. You trade a premier left tackle, and then you have to give up 2 first-rounders and a second to go get another left tackle and have to pay him top dollar. So you what you could have been building, at least JJ like, man, we're gonna get a top draft pick. You know, we in the running. You got nothing. Mm-hmm. And JJ's like, I want no part of this.
Okay.
JJ been speaking an awful lot. Remember, he had that blow up with Bill O'Brien, and once he had that blow up with Bill O'Brien got
and I believe he got him fired.
Yes.
Like he was the last straw.
Yes.
When he said no, the franchise said that's enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Because he's J.J. Watt.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you just deliver these comments to the GM or to something? Go to the top. Go to the owner.
Right.
Just say, I just can't take this anymore.
Yeah, because he has that type of relationship,
Yeah.
but there's no question, Skip. And when these guys like J.J. Watt or Aaron Donald, their voice carries the same amount of weight as a great quarterback on a team because they're the best players on that team. Or they were, I think Deshaun is the best player. Now, J.J. is clearly not the same player. I think he can be a piece. I don't believe he can dominate like he once could, Skip. I still think he can be a valuable piece because he's not that explosive, that quick guy. He was just unblockable. He's not that anymore. But he's like, I don't want to, I can't be here for that. I can't. I'm sorry. I wish I could, but I can't stick around.
So J.J. Watt's record as a Houston Texan is 63-56, which is not that much over 500.
Right.
Again, he's not the quarterback, but you say for a while he was the best player in all of football. Mm-hmm. Well, he doesn't have a lot to show for it.
No.
Okay? So in his time there, they're 3-5 in the playoffs. And they've gotten a lot of easy playoff games because they end up skating through their division, right?
I mean, what you think he's supposed to do with guys like Brian Hoyer and Brock Osweiler as his quarterbacks? I'm surprised he won that many games with those guys. You think about who DeAndre Hopkins had throwing to him over all those years, Case Keenums. And you think he's supposed to win some games with him? He
kept taking advantage of Andy Dalton's Bengals, right?
Yes. He
did.
Yes.
Right?
So it was it's tough sledding, Skip, in that division. It was because, he had 1 year Peyton was there.
Yep.
And then, Peyton was hurt that year.
Yep.
Peyton was hurt.
I would just keep it to myself.
No, yes. I can't keep it to myself. No.
Yeah, you guys don't keep anything to yourself. I don't know what you're saying over there.
No mercy.
Well, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers travel west to San Francisco for tonight's Thursday night football game on Fox. And while both teams are banged up, Green Bay will be without its top 3 running backs. When Rodgers was asked how he felt about the situation, he said, quote, "It'll be a fun challenge." So Shannon, with a depleted Packers backfield, will this be an MVP showcase for Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, come on, Shannon.
I think he'll play well. Skip,
well?
Yeah, I think he'll play very well.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but Skip, MVP showcase, really? Russ has 26 touchdowns. My homeboy's 21-1. Okay. They have 1 loss. Aaron Rodgers already has 2.
Well, Aaron could get 5 tonight.
And he's still the best he could do is be 3rd place still.
Okay.
But anyway, I expect him to play well in this game, considering he doesn't have any running backs. Skip.
Thank you.
So he's going to have to throw the ball, and then seeing what Russ and DK Metcalf did last week, 12 catches for $161 and 2 touchdowns for Metcalf, I expect very similar numbers from Devontae Adams.
This is Aaron Rodgers' time to shine. This is his
shining.
Solo stage to light it up on national TV.
You see his numbers?
No run game, bombs away. This is time. I want to see the greatest thrower of the football ever. The pressure is on. This should be your MVP showcase tonight. You know it, and I know. I want to see the big 400. I want to see 30 of 38 for 402.
I want to see the big W win. That's what I want to see.
Well, I got 7.5. I got San Francisco in 7.5.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Do you want to pick a score? You want me to give you a score?
Yep.
28-17.
I got 28-25. I'll give you the Packers will win, but only 28-25 because you gave me 7.5 for another case.
That's okay. And when I put your 7.5 up there, the Packers win 28-24.5.
Oh, okay. So this is the night I want to see an MVP showcase.
You've been seeing it.
Yeah.
You've been watching it all year right before your eyes.
Pressure is on.
20 touchdowns.
Yeah, I want to come in here tomorrow and say, you got me.
Skip, let that sink in. 20 touchdowns with 2 picks, and you say the man is playing like some slaw.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did.
Really, guys? Really? All right. That is it for Undisputed. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to be back at the same time tomorrow morning. Have a good day, guys.